Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan, and the topic of this 10-minute moan is the concerning increase in Scotland of incidents of human trafficking. Now that's something that as a Scottish person I've never really gave much thought to, but over the last few months it's been drawn to my attention by particular by people within the child abuse campaigning area of society who have suggested to me that human trafficking in Scotland is far worse than we know. And in the last 24 hours, Scottish television alone have given us two stories which are quite concerning. First one in Dundee, the first one was in Paisley, and the second one they put out was in Dundee. But I'm going to look at the Dundee one first. I'm going to tell you the story. I'm going to show you the STV's report on it, the video, and then I'm going to talk about an incident in Paisley 24 hours previously. And when you couple this together and some of the stats that they tell you, the whole thing's quite worrying. So the first article I'm going to cover was the one that went on just today, and it includes a video which I'll show you once I've read out the article. And again, as I say, it's from STV's website. Watch as police raid home in human trafficking crackdown. In the last 6 years, the number of human trafficking victims in Scotland has increased by 260%. What a frightening headline. And the story then goes, police in Dundee have taken a week of action aimed at disrupting organised crime groups. Officers targeted a house in the affluent Fairmuir area of the city in connection with a suspected human trafficking and sexual exploitation offences. Police say they are focused on disrupting the groups that exploit vulnerable men, women and children sexually, financially and emotionally. Now this ties back to something that one of the child abuse campaigners spoke to me about a few months ago, and it opened my eyes up, where there seems to be an actual route. And then when looked into it, there was a suggestion that some people, their houses just get taken over by these same gangs for to use their houses to distribute sometimes manufactured drugs. And it's just frightening the life out of me. So the story continues. STV News joined forces for the raid in Fairview earlier this week. Plainclothes officers were eventually let into the property, avoiding forced entry by officers standing with a battering ram. A specialist police dog was also drafted in to sniff out any proof of exploitation. Evidence was later removed, but no one was arrested. The operation was designed to build a bigger picture of the extent of human trafficking and sexual exploitation across Dundee. It's a growing problem across Scotland. In the last 6 years, the number of human trafficking victims in Scotland has increased by 260%, according to the organisation Survivors of Human Trafficking in Scotland. So it's that bad. There's actually an organisation dealing with it. This is a massive problem that I don't think the public are aware of. Cases have been found in every local authority in Scotland. Every local authority. So it's across the country. There are an estimated 360,000 people trafficked in the UK, but only 10% are found every year, the charity said. Detective Superintendent Ray Burney of Police Scotland said the most common type of exploitation crime for us is people being trafficked into work in the sex industry, and we've real concerns for the people involved, often against their will and often brought in from foreign countries. But it takes many forms and many different guises, including in the drugs trade and including modern slavery, where people are brought in to work for wages way below what they should get and exploited that way. Victims found during the police action are being supported by navigators from Charity, Justice and Care. The organisation helps victims of exploitation to rebuild their lives and supports them through the process. So far this week, 6 properties across Tayside have been searched and 17 people arrested for various offences. Detectives say disrupting the organised crime groups behind human trafficking is complex. They're urging anyone with suspicions to report this hidden crime, as it could happen on anyone's doorstep. That is pretty frightening. I'll show you the video that police, that STV put out on their website as part of this story.
It's the police. Can you open the door, please? Could you come to the door, please? Otherwise, we'll have to force entry. We've got a warrant.
Officers are today building a bigger picture of the extent of human trafficking and sexual exploitation across Dundee. It's a growing problem across Scotland. In the last 6 years, the number of victims of human trafficking identified has increased by 260%.
The most common probably for us is persons being trafficked in to work within the sex industry, and we have real concerns for the people involved, often against their will and often brought in from foreign countries for that. But it takes many forms and many different guises, including in the drugs trade and including modern slavery, where people are brought in to work for wages way below what they should get.
Absolutely frightening, isn't it? Now, that was Dundee, and that story was put out today, so obviously this was some point in the last week when they have been working with the police, and it makes sense that they would wait until the exercise was finished before, putting this out. So it could have probably been any time within the last week. But yesterday, the same outlet, STV, Scottish Television, put out the following headline: 2 women charged with human trafficking and brothel keeping. 3 addresses were raided in Paisley following an investigation into an illicit activity. So, for those that don't know Scotland, Paisley is on the west coast, just to the west side of Glasgow, and Dundee is on the east coast, north of Edinburgh. So we're right across the country here in these 2 cases. And the story in this one that went out, as I say, yesterday, 2 women have been charged with human trafficking and brothel keeping after 3 properties were raided by police in Paisley on Thursday. The intelligence-led operation was carried out alongside the Home Office Immigration Enforcement team, with officers attending the addresses in Scotland's largest town on September the 26th. Police apprehended and charged 2 women aged 38 and 44 in connection with human trafficking, brothel keeping and serious and organised crime offences. The arrests follow an extensive investigation into alleged illicit activity taking place at premises in Abercorn Street area of Paisley. Detective Sergeant Jason Buxton of the Renfrewshire and Inverclyde Public Protection Proactive Unit said, "We are committed to working with our partners to pursue those involved in this type of criminality with strong focus on safeguarding individuals who may be at risk of exploitation. This type of criminality can have long-lasting and detrimental effects on people who are exploited, whilst those who orchestrate this activity often benefit from the proceeds of this exploitive abuse. Information from people within our communities is key to helping us identify those involved. I would urge anyone with information or concerns about exploitation of any kind to contact Police Scotland or Crime Stoppers anonymously." So I don't know if this is just a short-term campaign that Police Scotland have got against this type of crime, or if for some reason we're just starting to hear about it now. They're obviously allowing STV to go on one of their campaigns to Adore, enabling them to put out the Dundee video. But I just think it's crackers, and as I say, it's all tying in with information I was given months ago by child abuse campaigner. So it's worrying. What's the true level of it? Who knows? What's behind it? It's organised crime by the sounds of it. And are the people being trafficked purely immigrants? Because obviously in the Paisley story, they tell us that the intelligence-led operation was carried out alongside the Home Office Immigration Enforcement team, with officers attending the addresses in Scotland's largest town. So that would suggest to me that there's a problem with immigrants. However, other people are suggesting to me that it's not only immigrants. A lot of these, I'm trying to remember the name of it, is it cocoon, where they sort of take over your address and do whatever they want. That's obviously not foreign people. And I hope that there's no Scottish, British children involved in this. So it's bad enough anybody, to be fair. But I just hope that it's not local kids and stuff that are being trafficked at all. So if you enjoyed the content of this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you've not already done so, please consider subscribing and hitting the notifications bell. Give me comments below, please. Always encourage people to put their comments and what they think of the video and its content. But most importantly of all, unless you're these people trafficking anybody in Scotland, not you.
Everyone else, have a great day. Cheerio, bye now.